A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us for what is going to be timed qualifying for the fourth and final round of the 2022 Rotax Max Challenge Euro Trophy season. We are here at the 1,220-metre Pro Kart Raceland circuit in Wackersdorf, just north of the homes of both BMW and Audi in both Munich and Ingolstadt, respectively. And the season pretty much got underway with the Winter Cup back at Karting in late February, where we had drivers competing for the best part of a nearly €30,000 prize fund that set the road to Portimao in action. Here today, and over the course of the weekend, we have the best part of just over 105 drivers from 22 different nations competing. And at the end of the weekend, we already have 4 titles decided. We will have another 3 possibly go down to the wire tomorrow afternoon. Over the course of the next 2 and a bit days, we'll have time qualifying for Junior Rotax, Senior Rotax, DD2 and DD2 Masters. We'll have 15 races tomorrow on Heats Day, and due to have a scheduled 9 races to conclude the 2022 season. At this point, it's just 65 days until the 2022 Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals. And for the 5th year out of the 22 so far through its history, the Grand Finals returns to Portimao in Portugal. So the season duration has been just shy of 5 months. We've visited not just Genk, but we've also been to Val d'Argenton and Marienburg, 2 new tracks that will remain with us on our 2023 season calendar. It is a bit of a somber part of the weekend where, after 5 years, we have to say a big, big thank you to Pro Kart Raceland for them being part of our calendar for the past 5 seasons. First of all, the current 7-hectare complex here at Pro Kart Raceland was inaugurated back just over 25 years ago, August 1997. And a big thank you to Stefan Fritsch and his team here at the circuit for providing what's been some great racing over the past 5 years. This circuit has 14 turns, 8 to the right, 6 to the left, and the track width is anywhere between 9 to 12 metres. So already this year, we've had, as I said earlier, 4 champions already crowned. We had Boaz Maximov become the inaugural mini-max champion for the Euro Trophy this year, pipping Tom Sweller by just a single solitary point. Ethan Jeff Hall is now confirmed as our 2022 Junior Rotax champion, having had a 51-point advantage after the penultimate round of the season. And he has opted to spectate this weekend. We will be having some interviews during the lunch break during tomorrow's stream. Also, Tay Stevens and Luca Costa became two champions as well, both in E20 Junior and E20 Senior. And we have already effectively given away 6 of the 14 tickets for the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals, but still 8 to give away at the end of this weekend. Each of the qualifying sessions will be over a duration of 5 minutes apiece. Each driver must be out of the dummy grid within the first 60 seconds. And they have to be at full pace from the word go. So looking at the current Junior Rotax standings coming into this final round, Ethan Jeff Hall with 136 points has a 51-point advantage over the man leading the way in the charge for second in the championship, also a fellow Brit, Scott Marsh from Dan Holland Racing. Tommy van der Stroys has really come into form, especially last time out at Marienburg, picking up a second and a victory, thereby declaring him the weekend winner. So a great showing from the young man who I first met at the B&L karting series. And I'm sure his dad, Martin, will remember the fact that I nicknamed him Mr. Domination because he completely swept the board on the first weekend of the championship, but then made the move 2 categories in I'm sure that might have been him just then, I'm not too sure, probably from where I'm standing, or sitting here in the commentary box position, just overlooking turns 1 and 2. Enzo Boll is also in the mix. Leon Zelenko, fresh from his exploits at the Rotax Max Challenge International Trophy at Le Mans. Congratulations, because Croatia will again be represented at the Grand Finals this year. Austin Lee rounds out the top 7 in the championship behind Vinnie Phillips, who's actually not here this weekend, but has been battling hard in the Motorsport UK Vera Tools British Kart Championships. Kasper Schormans is also with us, and he's 4th in the standings, ahead of Latvia's Gustavs Usakovs. with Vic Stevens completing the top 10 in the championship standings. But it is going to come down to the wire, I think. So 27 drivers in total for Junior Rotax, who will be going out very shortly. Looking at non-qualifying practice earlier on, Gustav Zusarkovs was the quickest with a 51.852. Top 3 covered by 2/10. Top 20 covered by just a second. Green light shows at the end of the dummy grid. The drivers are being informed by their mechanics, right, get your backsides out there on the circuit. Good to see former champion Mike Van Voot having a chat with our half of the course. And all of them are out onto the circuit, so it's going to be a straight-out dogfight for time qualifying. The driver that left the pre-grid first, well, currently third in the standings on 81 points, not including drop scores. Tommy van der Stroys from the Netherlands. So far, he's had a fourth, a third, a second, and a victory. So the drivers, with Dolowet and Bjorn are making their way through turns 11 and 12. A deceptive crest coming up as the drivers make their way through over the hump and into turns 13 and 14. Will hopefully start picking up the pace as he slips his way through turn number 3. It's going to be hard on the brakes. Right to the outside. Oh, a big run right there from Dollar up through the exit of turn 3, using as much of the run-off area as possible. As Stain's been competing in the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux. With P&L season veteran Glenn Van Parijs, who also competed in this championship a couple of years ago. Is Enzo Bol in the 204 from the Netherlands from SP Motorsports. Waiting for the first, and they're all jockeying for track position. There is Gustav Zusarkovs in the 289 LN kart. As we're waiting to get the full representation of what Tommy van der Stroys, he's going to cross the stripe now. Goes in with a 57.825, and look at the storm coming across the start finish line. Spotted Austin Lee at the back of the plane. Maybe Maximilian Schreier. Austin Lee did go top, but Scott Marsh puts in a 55.219. I had a chat with him earlier on today. He said that he loves the track, but it's been a bit difficult with the wet weather. He said, I haven't been racing that much or testing that much in the wet weather in the UK. Basically, because there hasn't really been that many. Good to have representing Hungary, Martin Ernesto Varga in the 292, running with the KF Racing team on the top promotion chassis. Some of the drivers filter their way through the turn 9-10 chicane. Krepsik has made a return to the championship as well in the 230. He's currently 5th behind Liam Zelenko. Scott Marsh leads the way. Tommy van der Stroys with 2 minutes to go, 54.126. Enzo Bol goes quicker by half a tenth. Alberto Pico Farcassi gets pipped by Scott Marsh by 11 thousandths, and now we're into the 53s, and it's nearly 4 wide going to break his own for turn number 4. In that is the 216 of Alejandro Vidmar. And KSP on the Tony Kart chassis as they all filter their way through. Minute and a half left on the session. Martin Ernesto Varga from Hungary has just gone quickest, 53.115. Nearly 2/10 quicker than Great Britain's Scott Marsh in the 222 from Dan Holland Racing. And it's KMS Europe's Aaron Krepsik in the number 230. Aljaz Vidmar. Leandro Fischer from Germany from Kraft Motorsport rounds out the top 5, covered by less than 4/10. And the Stroys already into the 52.6s, and Zusarkovs goes through and pips him by exactly 1/10, 52.596 into the last 60 seconds we go of the session. And he's been able to better the Latvian. Looking at the non-qualifying practice session earlier on, he was 0.16 quicker than Enzo Bol, who currently sits 3rd ahead of Germany's Austin Lee. And so Varga rounds up the top 5. top 13, rounded out by Croatia's Leon Zelenko, covered by 1.2 seconds as we head into the final foray in this qualifying session. 20 seconds on the time to go. Here comes Tommy van der Sluis. Gets his head down. 52.473, so he's got another bite of the cherry. So is Enzo Boll, who goes second. Austin Lee goes into the 51.8. That's a great time from the youngster. 51.897. Mikkel Pedersen, current series leader in the B&L karting series. Checkered is now out. Thomas Rotax from Lithuania and Christoph Sala from Austria, the first two drivers to take the checkered, 24th and 25th respectively. So Austin Lee and Mikkel Pedersen are separated by just over 6/100ths. And there's been a bit of a running gag at the Strawberry Racing Morning. Thank you very much, Ethan, who I know might be looking on as we speak. Tommy van der Sluis with the P4, but Gustavs and Sarkovs on his final attack. Whoa, hold the phone, that's the quickest time. Well, that's the closest I've ever seen a junior Rotax qualification session decided. Gustavs Sarkovs goes in with a 51.761. Casper Shermans from the Netherlands, who fresh off his victory at the Belgium Max Challenge just last week at Kaupen, 1/1000th behind. Leon Zelenko rounds out the top three on a 51.806. Top three drivers covered by 45,000ths of a second. A further 0.136 back. It's Germany's Austin Lee with Denmark's Mikkel Pedersen rounding out the top five. Alberto Kiko Fracassi, who apparently might be a bit of a doppelganger for Ethan Jeff Hall. He's had a bit of a helmet drama as an Italian, so he's using Ethan's helmet instead. So thank goodness Ethan had his helmet on standby just in case. Enzo Boll rounds out the top 7, ahead of Dion van Verven. Tommy van der Sluis and Paolo Wet round out the top 10. Georgios Kafantaris from Greece. I recognise that name from Sano 2019, if I serve me correctly. Aaron Krepsik, Leandro Fischer, Max Cuthbert and Scott Marsh round out the top 15, covered by just under 9/10 of a second. Maxim Sachurko, Alshaz Vidmar, Martin Ernesto Varga ran at the top 18, covered by just over 1.1 seconds. Maximilian Schreier and Vic Stevens covered the top 20. Lotus Tween being mechanic these days by Mads Ries, who's also secured himself a ticket for the Grand Finals in Portimao on a one-off occasion over in Denmark. He's here as well. We've got Tino Sidler, Sebastian Koch, Noah Janssen, Olivier Jonkers, Thomas Rudokas and Christoph Sala, who round out the 27-strong grid, covered by just over 2 seconds after that 5 minutes. So any of the results I call provisionally up here in the commentary position, just overlooking turns 1 and 2, and also you see part of the gantry and just by the podium to my immediate left-hand side. They are provisional pending any technical and sporting checks post-session. And there we have part of our senior Rotax contingent, 42 drivers in all. We nearly had 50 on the books for this weekend, split into 2 groups. 21 will be out in Group 1 and also 21 out in Group 2. So the biggest representation of the grid here at Pro Kart Raceland Circuit in Wackersdorf. And looking at the back at the results so far, so drivers that have secured the maximum score in the finals. Sean Butcher this season has taken 4. Kai Gillets has taken 1. And so has Matilda Olsson. Butcher won both finals at Genk and Marienburg. Gillets won the first one at Val d'Argenton and took 2nd, thereby winning the weekend. Olsson was 2nd, I think, if memory serves me correctly, that weekend. She took a total of 41 points. Olsson, 2019 and 2020 senior Rotax champion, also placed in P3. There's Luke Neeson in the 824, and to his immediate left-hand side, it's the good old Iron Lynx livery. And that is Matteo Pianizzola. There's the Arguns from Austria. So Miro Halika looking very, very composed there. Youngster from Finland in the 381, running with Robert Schlunsen's team, Morris competition. But we've had quite a few returnees to the championship, which is nice to see, especially those that want to decide to get out of what they're doing at the moment and come back to the roots, so to speak. So the pre-grid is now being cleared. Rafael Renhofer, Matilda Olsson, Scott Westhovens as well. Good to see him back. So at the front of the pre-group, we've got Lachlan Robinson from KR Sporting 303, and to his immediate right-hand side is Bennett Ahrens from Germany in the 823 entry. So looking back at the non-qualifying practice results, the top 21 were covered by just over 1.1 seconds. So this looks to be, it's going to be even closer in this session. Farin Mega from Germany was the fastest with the 49.872 seconds, followed by the 307 of Denmark. So I'm just trying to remember now. That is William Christensen, and Matilda Olsson rounded out the top three. Top three were covered by less than a tenth and a half. So drivers are now waiting for the green light to flash at the end of the dummy grid. And the mechanics will then signal to the drivers when to start the engines and get themselves out onto the circuit. Coming into the final round of the championship after Captain Defania Marienborg, the current points leader is now Sean Butcher. He's currently sitting on 133 points. Second in the championship, Kai Helatz from Belgium on 90 points. And Kai Hunter, also from Great Britain, rounds out the top three. Matilda Olsson is in the mix for second or third in the championship. She currently sits on 77 points in fourth place. Callum Bradshaw not here this weekend. So his focus, well, he's currently leading the Motorsport UK British Kart Championships, having done a pretty good job. Pretty much clean swept it, I think, if memory serves me correctly, last weekend at Kimbolton, where a few of our drivers that are here, that are competing in the championship, have made their way over to Germany. So the green light has been shown at the end of the dummy grid, and it's flashing away. So one hand will normally be on the steering wheel, like we see with Luke Neeson, who's got the finger ready to press the start button on the Rotax Max Evo engine to his immediate right-hand side. So the light has gone amber. I would imagine it's going to be like a traffic jam on the M25. Scott Westhoven's gets stuck in the middle, trying to get out. Kirsten's is the last driver to exit out of the dummy grid, as they're all going to start jockeying for position. So by staying in the dummy grid for that amount of time, it sort of compromises the amount of flying laps you're going to have. But also, one of the things that you need to have coming out of turns 13 and 14 is actually a good toe going into turn 1 2, which is pretty much flat out. As the drivers are now starting to make their way through into the first hairpin at turn number 11. Schlegel looks to be third in that train as everyone, see how the recording in effect is happening. We've got some drivers now trying to get some track space, like Lachlan Robinson in the 303 from KR Sports. So Bennett Arlens has been followed by teammate from the last competition, Ian Christensen. Lukas Schlegel is in there. Place, so Robinson, Halika, Petrovic, Schmitte and Sem Abdul, Zach Scowler and Bjarne Schultz from it's Israel that we represented back here in the Euro Trophy. Bjarne Schultz was the 10th driver out there, ahead of Sam Van Thiel and Matilda Olsson from Sweden, and Nielsen, Rafa Venhoven, the official Scott Westhoven's, Fabian Mega, Matteo Pianizola, Alan Domingo and Luke Kirstens. That's the 20 drivers at this juncture. So now reflective times will come in. Arins crosses the line already into the 51.4s. Robinson goes to the top of the time sheets early, 51.105, and Olsson goes straight into the 50s, 50.760 from the 300. Very close between the top 12, covered by just under 9/10. So Olsson has already started to pick up the pace quite early, especially when we're just under a second away from the top time for Fabian Mega in Senior Group 1 non-qualifying practice earlier on this afternoon. We have 90 seconds on the timer remaining. Only 6 qualifying sessions taking place. 2, in fact, for DD2 and Senior Rotax. And the fastest time in one of the sessions will be the fastest time overall. Miro Halika from Finland, 381, goes top of the timesheets, but Olsson already, now we're seeing some pace. Olsson, 49.927, and then up pops Fabian Mega on cue, 49.888 for the 376. Well, we still have time to find. And with the top 10 now rounded out by Lachlan Robinson, they are covered by less than 4/10. some drivers will make it across the line. Looks like Matilda Olsson just wants to get some clear air, and that's exactly what she's managed to do. Getting past Sam van Tiel from the Netherlands, 3.70. Robinson goes up to P6 ahead of Middle Halika. Nevio Fischer goes top, 49.612 for the 3.36. Sola now up into fourth place, so Wackersdorf. So the timer hits 0. Next time the drivers cross the stop, they receive the checkered flag. And Fahim Mega, it's a repeat of what happened with the junior Rotax qualification. 1/1000 separates first from second. So Nevio Fischer and Fahim Mega lead the way. Matilda Olsson, Matteo Pianizzola and Wackersdorf ran out the top 5. Checker flag is out for the session. So Middle Halika. Nevio Fischer is not improved on the previous lap time. Keeping an eye out for Fahim Mega. I think this is pulled into pit lane. But Nevio Fischer provisionally is the top time setter in Group 1 qualification for senior Rotax with a 49.612, 1/1000th quicker than countryman Fahim Mega. Matilda Olsson rounds out the top 3 positions with a 49.802. That's Italy and the Netherlands and Germany represented, courtesy of Matteo Pianizzola, Luke Neeson and Rafa Renhofer. Zach Scowler, Luke Kirstens, Andrei Petrovic. The UAE's Lachlan Robinson ran out the top 10, covered by just over half a second. Mino Halika, Mette Argun, Sem Argun, they complete the top 13 with Sem van Tiel. William Christensen down in 15th position, ahead of Hungary's Arno Dominko. With Scott Westhoven's Bennett Arends, Lukas Schlegel, and Israel's Yarin Schultz rounding out the 20 strong drivers, covered by just over 1.3 seconds. So we have another great depth and breadth. There is James Johnson, who this weekend is bidding farewell to what's been a storied 14-year career. I know I've got to speak to James a little bit later on. We're going to be having a chat about that, I'm sure, as the drivers are making their way onto the dummy grid. And I've just been informed today, many happy returns. Rashid Ghanem, 21 today, so that's the number 341 from the UAE, from KR Sport. There's Lewis Gilbert in the 329, now rocking the Kraft Motorsport colours, with the likes of Finn and Janis Diak in that crew, along with Mats Johan Overhoff, who was busy filming Thierry de Jong doing something a bit hooliganish in his car the other night, which did make it onto Instagram. There's Debian Horst in the 345. There's Kai Hunter. Older brother Reese is these days managing his own team, Hunter Motorsport. Their dad Matt runs Karting Northeast at Warden Law. There's Jason Lang, the only Canadian in Euro Trophy history to set pole positions this season, and did it in 2 successive rounds. He's really one to keep an eye on, I think. So over the course of qualifying over this season, we've had, by what I've said, it's 21 different drivers that have 21 different drivers that have secured pole positions, and it's 2 apiece for Dave Stevens, Ethan Jeffall, and Jason Lowe. So the depth and breadth. There's Philip Vava, the Spaniard returning. He's been busy over the last 2 seasons. He's been racing the GT4 European Series with NM Racing, and he's got a home race at Barcelona in a couple of weeks' time. And when I messaged him on Facebook the other week, he said, yeah, come back for a little bit of fun. And I thought, well, I'm going to come back to grassroots. And he was a competitor with us for a number of years before he moved up to GT4, along with the likes of Cesar Gazor, who's now racing with Santilok in GT3, running in an Audi R8 these days. So the time to beat in qualifying provisionally is from Nevio Fischer. The drivers have a target to aim for, 49.612 seconds. Now, looking at non-qualifying practice earlier on this afternoon, just after the lunch break, current championship leader Sean Butcher was quickest, and it was a top 3 British lockout. Butcher's time was a 49.930. Lewis Gilbert from Scotland. I do say Great Britain at times, but I do know, well, we all know he's Scottish anyway, so it's good to see him and his mum and dad here as well. Kai Hunter rendered out the top 3, and they were covered by just over a 10th of a second. Top 19 in that session, covered by just over 1 second as well. Right, so a bit of an update for junior Rotax qualification. It has been confirmed that Gustav Zusarkovs becomes pole position, takes his second pole position of the season. So it's 18 drivers, 22 pole positions now secured over the course of this season, and 1/1000th between him and Kasper Schurmans. I have noticed that there was a penalty for Noah Janssen from Germany. 3-position drop because of a front fairing being in. There's Kaya Hewlett sporting a very, very nice new crash helmet. There's mechanic Rick. Every time I see Lewis Gilbert, either in person or on screen, he's always great. So qualifying for senior Rotax will put us into 3 or 4 groups, so there'll be a total of 6 heats. There's the returning Elia Galvanin from Italy. 3rd place at the grand finals back in Sarno. And then there is Alfie Briggs. Good to have him still with us in the championship. The 382 from the UK, based out of Banbury. Recently picked up the junior Rotax title in Super 1 quite recently. So the green light starts to flash at the end of the dummy grid as we wait for the senior Rotax drivers in this group to try and see if they can best the result of one Nevio Fisher with a 49.612 second lap time around this 1,222 kilometre circuit. Right, first driver is just coming up. That is the 833 Alex Schulman from the Czech Republic. Sody kart chassis. Issue at the front of 319, it's Sam Bergstein. And again, it's getting close to being another M25 style traffic jam here in the dummy grid. Now Kai Phillips starts to move and gets in front of quite a few drivers. Make their way out. Up again. Sean Butcher is the last one at the end of the train. Behind his Canadian teammate, Jason Lowe. Very interesting chat with Jason yesterday. One's from Hong Kong, one's from Taiwan, and one's from Canada. So I asked him a question. What language, what Chinese language is the dominant? He said both. So very good answer there, Jason. Well put. Drivers have to be up to full speed in qualifying. Still have 3 1/4 minutes to go. The 2 hairpins at turn 11 and turn 12 with 3 minutes on the clock to go. They're running out of time if they want to push and try and beat that time from Nevio Fisher. Alex Schulman from the Czech Republic is the first one to get out there. And now a flood of colour across the start-finish line as they go through turns 1 and 2. Footwork sweeps his way through into turn number 3. Alex Schulman from the Czech Republic has posted a lap time 59.529 with 2 minutes and 21 seconds. It's about who can make the best of this current situation. So probably at this point, Williams Kai Phillips will have a couple of laps, maybe 3 at a push, and really put the hammer down as he makes his way out of the final corner. Phillips goes top, but then, well, he was top for about a thousandth of a second or two, and he dropped to 6th, but it's Sean Butcher that's just got in with a 50.294. With 1 minute and 40 to go. So a lot of time to find. Sean Butcher's got the least time to find of anybody. Lewis Gilbert is about 0.33 adrift. Jason Lowe rounds out the top 3. Nico Hunter, Kai Hunter, Kai Phillips, James Johnson, Alfie Briggs, Janis Stiak, who's moving to Porsche Carrera Cup Germany next year, rounds out the top 9 ahead of the returning Philip Bubba from Spain. And over the course of the season, Lewis Gilbert and James Johnson, very good friends, steely competitors. And Sombor Kovac makes his way through. So does Kai Phillips going through turn 4, and Alfie Briggs I think has just got the pass as well. Very close going into the left-hander at turn 5 for Kai Hunter, who makes the move up the inside. And Janis Stiak has gone in with a 49.775. That puts us just over a tenth and a half. So it's Stiak, Briggs, Gilbert, Phillips, and also Georgia's Alexander Akuzava. To have him back in the championship, still running with Dan Holland Racing whenever he's come over to Europe. So there are those that are going to make it. Phillips is going to get another lap, as are quite a few others. 15 seconds on the clock to go as Wilson and slipstream is on by Kovac, with Alfie Briggs following it behind. Do they both get past the Hungarian? Oh, that's a bit of a run right there. That's compromised Kovac's lap time, and it nearly did the same to Hunter's at the same time. checker flag is going to be out this time as we wait for the first driver to cross the start-finish line to take the checkered flag. 5 minutes have elapsed. So, are we going to get closer or beat Nevio Fisher's time? We're very shortly going to find out. So as they flood across the line, who's going to get to the top of the time sheets? It won't be Hillets, it won't be Briggs, it won't be Gilbert. Stiak holds on to that top spot. But Group 1 looks to be the fast group on that particular occasion. So Yannick Stiak takes the top time with a 49.775. Alfie Briggs and Lewis Gilbert, both representing Great Britain, complete the top three, covered by just over 0.16 of a second. Kai Hillets rounds out the top four ahead of George's Alexander Akazawa, with Kai Hunter completing the top six. Birthday boy today, Patrick Gannon, runs seventh ahead of championship leader Sean Butcher. Evan Horst and Germany's Nico Hanke ran out the top 10 with Zomba Kovac, Mats Johan Overhoff, Elia Galvani, James Johnson, and Canada's Jason Lowe rounding out the top 15, covered by just under 7/10. Sam Bergstein, Philip Vava, Jan Schmidt, Matthias Korn from Denmark, Baz Janssen and Helmut Schaumann round out the 21 strong. All 21 drivers covered by just under 1.3 seconds. So we're now going to get underway with our first of two qualifying sessions in DD2. And coming into the championship standings, Mark Kimber from Great Britain, who ended his senior Rotax journey last year at the Grand Finals in Bahrain. And he is leading the DD2 standings on 115 points ahead of current reigning and defending champion Petr Bezel for the Czech Republic. His brother Jakub, who won the title a couple of years ago, I think it was 2019 if memory serves me correctly, is just 3 points behind. Maxime de Rix from Belgium in the 499, currently sitting on 59 points. Was the weekend winner last time out at Marienburg, took a third and a victory, and then topped the weekend standings. He's ahead of Martin van Leeuwen from the Netherlands in the 412 by just a point. Philip Moitzi in 4.49 representing Austria. Completes the top 6, a further 5 points behind the Dutch driver in the 4.12. Zander Schriblak, not here this weekend, but has been getting himself into some kind of sports car racing. I think piloting a BMW 3 Series Coupe quite recently. Vili Ainen taking a well-deserved first final victory in Marienborg back in the second weekend of July. He currently sits 8th in the championship ahead of Denmark's Mathias Jette Jakobsen on 45 points. And the top 10 rounded out by Slovenia's Zenderua in 4.11 on 40 points. So again, as we had with qualifying for senior Rotax, we're going to have 2 groups.
Wenn das noch so lang ist, kannst du mit dem Licht noch irgendwas machen, dann könnte ich den Müllsack entfernen. Gut, ich habe die Kamera festgestellt, ich laufe mal so ein bisschen nach vorne und dann
So the pre-grid is being cleared. And, well, many congratulations to Estonia's Ragnar Veres, this year becoming a 6-time Estonian champion, having picked up a title in 2017, 2 in 2018, 1 in 2019, 1 in 2020, and then this year as well. And he's also going to be setting up something called Cartelix, where it's going to help athletes to perform at their maximum. And yeah, you might want to give that page a follow if you want to find out what Ragnar Veres is up to when he's not racing. Also good to see Niklas Krens back with us. He's been doing a lot of mechanicking quite recently, but decided he needed to scratch the racing itch and decided to do it on home soil. So good to have him with us. A total of 17 drivers will be out in this group, and they will set the pace for Group 2. So in the first non-qualifying practice session for DD2 earlier on this afternoon, it was Latvia's Patrick Snols-Lokmelis in the 403 that posted the best time of a 49.275. In that session, the top, well, pretty much all of the drivers were covered by just under 1.1 seconds. Finland's Vili Ainen in the 462 entry was just over 0.13 off, rounded it, and the top 3 rounded out by Rasmus Vendelbo in 447, representing Denmark. So 0.172 covered the top 3. So the first group qualifying session for DD2 underway. The green light flashing at the end of the dummy grid as the timer ticks down from 5 minutes to 0. As we wait for the first driver or two that decides to hit the start button and push down on the throttle and roll the cart out of the pit lane. No one's decided to blink just quite yet. Well, Ragnar decides, I'm going to go out there. Joined by Zembria in port 11. Inside the 4 count with Charlie Anderson from Sweden and Leonardo Wackersdorf using his decision to join the, not just the BNL karting series manager right now on board, but also competing with us last time out for our third and penultimate round. There is Lucas James in Ford 6-1. Seems like the big drivers like to head their way back to Fans Racing. We've got this Mike Malice in 453. His countryman DJ Veres with us back at Malingborg, which was basically his swan song. So the drivers now getting up to full qualifying speed. They hurtle their way through. Now, a bit of a change. Alessandro Browser, who's been with us during points of the season in DD2 Masters, decided, I'm going to go into DD2. I'm not too sure if that was a very, very last-minute decision, but he's decided to give it a shot and see how he gets on. So Ragnar Veres is the first one to get into the high 49s. He's picked quickly by Billy Ryman. Alongside Pete, Zembria, Charlie Anderson from Sweden completes the top 5, covered by what was half a second, but then Latvia's Matis Malinovskis decides to go up into P3, 50.098. Jerry Jakobsen, standings. He's in first, but a good second lap there from Lucas James from Germany. 4.61 now up into P2, 49.831 seconds. Quickly gets dropped by 3/100ths down to third, courtesy of the two drivers, while that position James is dropping down to 6th place. As Billy Iden improves and puts in a 49.290. Nearly closing in. Bakaglini gets to within a 10.5. Lokmelis up to 4. Malinovskis all the way down into what is now 14th position ahead of Switzerland's Alessandro Blauser. Hans Borger goes P7. Jere Jakobsen goes to within 3/100ths of Billy Iden. Of the course of the session still remaining. Billy Iden is setting the pace. Ragnar Veres now goes back up to third position. Bedu at 9th, ahead of Davis, who rounds out the top 10. Top 10 covered by less than 6/10. Billy Iden again improves and goes even quicker than Lokmelis's non-qualifying practice fastest time, 49.232. Jere Jakobsen still stays in second position, but does not improve. Got to within 70 thousandths of his best lap. Malinovskis makes his way through turns 9 and 10 into the first tight hairpin here at turn number 11. Shoots the outside, stays away from clipping the curves on the inside of turn number 12 over the crest. Through turn number 13 and through turn 14. It's going to be nip and tuck for him if he's going to get across the line. He does with about 2 seconds to go. Oh, right. Leonardo Baccaglini has just thrown his hat into the ring and gone second. Borgard goes P12. Peter Bezel goes second on a 49.303. Solo is definitely getting a bit sideways on the brakes down the start-finish straight and decided to exit stage left and go into the pit lane. Matthias Jelle Jakobsen in P4 with a 49.319. Here's crosses the line. That's only P5 for the Estonian in this session. Niklas Kanes remains in what is 10th place. A couple of drivers to cross the line, and Baccaglini decides to think better of it and decides to pull in. Malinovskis crosses the line and goes P15. Drivers now being asked to put in the next of Hans Rodger, who I haven't seen in quite a while, before it 1-3 on the Maranello chassis. Takes P9 in the session, but it is Finland's Ville Viljalainen that takes the top time in that session. 49.232 for the 462 from RS competition. As the rest of the field make their way around turn 14 and then get asked, well, you need to go into the pit lane. So Ville Viljalainen takes the top time in that session ahead of defending champion Peter Bezel by just 71 thousandths of a second, and Viljalainen's time is going to be the time to beat. Leonardo Baccaglini takes P3. Top three covered by less than just over 8 100ths of a second, and a further 5 thousandths back. Look at the gap between first to fourth. 87 thousandths in this qualifying session, with Ragnar Virus, Patrick Knowles Lockmellis, Lauren Seifried, Charlie Anderson, Hannes Borda, and Niklas Kanes rounding out the top 10, covered by 0.483 seconds. Philip Jetson was a thousandth ahead of countryman Carl Borgard in the battle for 11th, and Jepsen was actually 1 thousandths behind Krenz and nearly made it into the top 10. Zenderua 13th, ahead of Elias Kaliakmanis, with Matis Malinovskis, Alessandro Glauser, and Denmark's Rasmus Vendelbo rounding out the 17 strong. So we have our penultimate session of time qualifying about to get underway. There's Stan Pax, the man himself, who normally is in the awning. This time he's decided to get his race overalls again. Fresh from his 7th place finish at the FIA World KZ Championships at Le Mans just the other week. And I spoke to him when he was actually working on the car, and he said, yep, well, this is my hobby. And his dad is enjoying a bit of rallying at the moment with a certain Jos Verstappen. Luckily enough, they've both got their each own cars, so that's a good thing. Good to see him with us. In a competitive sense, he's got to his immediate right-hand side. Martin van Leeuwen from the Netherlands, also running on a Kart Republic chassis. Martin qualified for the grand finals at the Golden Trophy last year, and then went on to win the grand finals in the Persian Gulf at the Bahrain International Karting Circuit. We have broken some news earlier on today that the Golden Trophy will be happening between the 4th and the 6th of November. We have already indicated that there will be grand finals tickets up for grabs for both Minimax and DD2. We will be running the 5 classes, so Minimax, Junior Rotax, Senior Rotax, DD2 and DD2 Masters at the home of champions Karting Genk. Stay tuned to all our social media channels for updates when we are able to release further information, and especially when we've had multiple questions asking about information, and also when do entries open. I'm sure that's going to be not too far after this race weekend. So, in Group 2 non-qualifying practice earlier on today, Martin van Leeuwen from the Netherlands was the quickest, 49.504, 59 thousandths quicker than current championship leader Mark Kimber in the 471 from Great Britain, and Denmark's Tino Egeskov in the 448. It was 6/100ths that separated those 3 drivers, with all 16 drivers going out in this session, covered by just over 8.5 tenths of a second. So the green light flashes at the end of the dummy grid, and the 5 minutes start ticking away. We're already nearly a quarter of a minute into the first of 5 minutes of this qualifying session, with the time to beat 49.232 seconds, courtesy of Finland's Ville Viljainen in the 462 from RS Competition. No one's decided to start their engines quite yet. I'm sure that very shortly we'll have an outflux from the... Liking the... what Lucas Bellner from Canada's got on the back. He's got a boost loading, please wait. And Lucas Thompson from Germany. That's the first one to go out there. Lucas is in there. Now, so scoring Breitenbach is running as well. Drivers on their way. Mark Kimber being the last one out there. Away from the exit of the dummy grid brings them on to the exit of turn number 3. Set of benchmark lap times to come in. Over the course of the session, the times will improve. drivers get the tyres up to the optimum. Just their outlap, so we're going to get a true representation. Lucas Thompson makes his way through turn number 5. So tripping right at turns 6, 7 and 8. Now he's got the 2 hairpins at turns 11 and 12. Some of the drivers making their way through turn number 6 and into 7 and 8 now. 7 and 8. It's being followed by drivers. That would be Hugo Schwarzer from Means Racing. 488. Maxim Drix, fresh from his weekend in Kerpen on the Belgian Max Challenge. Taking the top step of the rostrum. So Ed Matthews goes top of the time sheets, 50.089. Jakob Bezel already into the 49.7s. Joined by Philip Moitzi from Austria. Wackersdorf, who was quickest in his third quickest in non-qualifying practice for this group early on, goes P2. Mark Kimber up to 4th place, 49.968 for the current championship leader from Great Britain. So top 5 drivers, including Austria's Manuel Tencher in the 4:15, into the high 49s. Lucas Thompson went quicker still, 49.695, but Ed Matthews and then Stan Peck's on cue, decides to go quicker. He's 8 1/1000ths quicker than Maxime Drix. And now Martin van Leeuwen comes into play, 49.240, 3 1/1000ths faster than Mark Kimber. We are on the cusp. Van Leeuwen is 8 1/1000ths away. 8 1/1000ths from pipping Ville Villainen to overall pole position in DD2. Spicy grid with 33 drivers on it tomorrow for all 3 heats. 45 seconds on the session remains. Lucas Thompson, 7th. Ed Matthews remaining in 6th at the moment. Finished yet. His brother makes it up to P10. Stan Pex goes P3. 469 goes in with a 49.484. Mark Kimber has got to within 6 1/1000ths. He's found about what? Not too much. But it's 6 1/1000ths away. He was the best part of over a 1/100th. Now Martin van Leeuwen has also improved, and it's 2 1/1000ths between the pair in 1st and 2nd. Coming down to the final couple of seconds in this qualifying session, it's going to be nip and tuck. Can either Kimber or Van Leeuwen break that time that Ville Villainen set in the session? We're about to find out very shortly. Ed Matthews, 8th, ahead of Lucas Thompson. Pex crosses line, stays P3, but then Drix bumps him down, and so does Moitzi. Pex down to 5th. As Kimber does not improve on that lap. I think Van Leeuwen decided to abort it, so by 6 1/1000ths of a second provisionally, your pole sister in DD2 is the Flying Finn Ville Villainen with a 49.232. Mark Kimber, 49.238 seconds. Of course, these results are provisional, pending sporting and also scrutineering post-session, but Mark Kimber takes the session by 2 1/1000ths of a second ahead of Troopers Racing's Martin van Leeuwen from the Netherlands. Philip Moitzi from Austria from the KSCA Study Europe in 3rd ahead of Maxim Drix. Stan Pex rounds out the top 5, covered by just under 2 1/2 tenths. Jakob Bezel rounds out the top 6, exactly on the button with 2 1/2 tenths. Tino Egeskov, Edward Matthews, Lucas Thompson, Florian Breitenbach, they round out the top 10, covered by just over 4 1/2 tenths. Finn Stiak, Lucas Bernot, Manuel Tenchert, Andreas Zinkevicius, Hugo Schwarzer and Benjamin Unterberger round out the 16 strong, all covered by a second at the end of that qualifying session.
Kleiner Junior wird jetzt ausflippen, wenn er euch zwei sehen will. Warum? Ah, das ist ein totaler Schwalbe Simson-Fan. Hat eben gerade angefangen zu schrauben mit 14.
Das ist das Beste, was er machen kann. Genau.
Ja, ich sag auch immer, so Leute werden gesucht demnächst.
Ja.
Wieso?
Ja. Ganz viele, was kann er machen?
So, als schöne Dinge. Das ist klar. Überschaubare Gruppe. Geh vielleicht nach rechts bei die grüne Ampel und knie dich dahin und lasse im Knien an dir vorbeifahren.
We now come to our final qualification session of the 2022 Rotax Max Challenge Euro Trophy season. And this time it's going to be our DD2 Masters drivers. And, well, front, but not quite centre on your screen. That's the 544 of current championship leader Dennis Thulm, who currently has 130 points to his credit. He's had 2 wins at Genk and then has had 4 successive second-place finishes, 2 at Val d'Argenton and 2 at the previous round at Marienborg. Hot on his heels, though, from Lithuania, Martinas Tankevicius. who won the Winter Cup back at Campillos. Was not with us at Genk, had other commitments, but then came back with 4 successive victories, both at Val d'Argenton and Marienborg. It's been a great fight to see those two into battle. And along with them is the driver 3rd place in the championship, Michael Becker, coming on 89 points, so the gap is 30 points between Dennis Thum and Martinis Tankevicius. Also good to see that we have Thierry de Jong back with us. Wasn't with us at Marienborg, but took 2 5th-place finishes and 2 4th-place finishes at Genk and Val d'Argenton, respectively. And joining them, we've got René Born from Germany in the 586. It's the final time that the green light starts flashing at the end of the dummy grid for the 2022 Euro Trophy calendar. Paul Fletcher International in Lincolnshire, the 28th and the 10th of September. As Michael Becker is the first one that decides to go out. Heads on out. Dennis Tankevicius is the 5th and final driver, heads out onto the circuit. We have good. So Michael Becker and René Born were the first 2 drivers to head out onto the track. So we have had 3 different pole sitters, and Dennis Thum this season has not been one of them. At Genk it was Michael Becker. Argentin, it's Carl Cobor, and well, it was Dennis Thum. It's actually Martinis Tankevicius that hasn't had the pole position this season. As they go hurtling their way into turns 3 and 4, hard on the brakes, going through that very fast right-hander. So Michael Becker in the comp car chassis. Way out of turn number 12, over the hump, rotates the car in, makes the car drift as wide as possible. He goes across the line, 50.484. Tankevicius was quickest in the qualifying practice with a 50.087, and it was 0.226 between Tankevicius, Thum and Becker, who rounded out the top 3. Thierry de Jong was enjoying the wet weather conditions yesterday. Said he was about a second up on the rest of the field. And Dennis Thum goes quicker than Tankevicius' non-qualifying practice time. And also, in the process, the Lithuanian betters it himself. 50.069 for the 544 from Germany. And currently sitting in 5th position on 52.161. Occasion. Puts in his best effort so far, 50.354. De Jong in 4th place, 50.641. Crosses the line, right. We've got a little bit of a battle for pole position. Could we have a 4th successive pole position in as many rounds of the championship? Because Tankevicius has just put in a 49.829. 0.131 ahead of Dennis Thum. Becker rounds out the top 3, covered by just over half a second. And now Michael Becker closes the gap between the top 3 to just under a quarter of a second. De Jong line. He improves in terms of lap time. Wackersdorf has again improved his lap time, 49.658 seconds. And this year we will see our team, Roberta Brzezowski, who also went on to win the DD2 Masters Grand Finals title in Sano later on that year. 2020, it was Sebastian Humpelhardt, and last year France's Paul Louveau. Becker was not improved on that time. Dion might be the last one to cross. Well, might be. Rainy Ball has just been the last one to cross the line. He's improved. And Dion was the first one to cross the stripe. Stankiewicz bails out of it and goes into pit lane. Dennis Thun is slowing. So it looks like that we have, I think this is the first time we've said this, 4 different pole sitters in 4 different race weekends. So now, following in the footsteps of Michael Becker, Karl Kibble and Dennis Thun, Martinas Stankiewicz has put himself on pole position, just waiting for Henneborn crossing the line. Doesn't improve on that one, but still gets to within 1.1 seconds of pole position. Dennis Thun is slowing on the start-finish straight. He pulls into pit lane. So that's it. Last qualifying session of the 2022 Euro Trophy season. It's Lithuania's Martinas Stankiewicz that takes it with a 49.658 second lap time. Quite a lot when you think about it, but quite close between him and Dennis Thun. 73 thousandths with Michael Becker completing the top 3. Thierry de Jong from the Netherlands in 4th, and René Born completing the top 5. All results called by myself here on commentary. And for those watching on the live stream as well, all provisional pending any technical and sporting checks post-race. So the racing action tomorrow morning will get underway at 10:30 local time, at Central European Summer Time. So if you're in the United Kingdom, it'll be 9:30 in the morning. So that really rounds out today's action. We will see you bright and early tomorrow morning as we kickstart with the penultimate day of the 2022 Rotax Max Challenge Euro Trophy season here at Procart Raceland Circuit. A big thank you, as always, to the team at Strecken Crew KCT and their fearless leader, Mr. Camilo Hossinger, as always. Big thank you from us all here for you all for watching. We'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, as we get Heats Day underway here in Wackersdorf.